Hello and welcome to anyone watching. You are watching a little project of mine. I wanted to upload this project since, well, I've just finished it and I just really like the outcome of it, the final product. Now what you are looking at currently is a headset. This was originally a Philips SHP 2000, one of the more common, more simple over-ear headset that they have. It was a pretty good headset, I think. Or at least I liked it. The sound was pretty nice. They felt comfortable. Nice cushions on the inside. But after some while, I had something like, yeah, it's just plain black, really. I wanted something with a bit more identity than those simple black scaled headsets. So what I did is I opened her up and I started working on her a little bit. Now what you are seeing is what it finally turned out. Now it is not just a visual adaptation what I did. This also had a few functionality changes to it, and I'll be taking you through those in a moment. Now first off, visually I changed simply the material of the scales on the back of the ears. The inner sides are still the same old nice soft cushiony things. Well, they were comfortable, so I kept those in. The back is now made out of wood and a few screws to hold it all together. Bit of glue here and there, but no, screws for the most part. So it is fully disassemblable in the case that I need to do some repairs or something. Now the top part, as you can see, is now covered in leather, fully going around down to the inside as well. As you can see, fully covered with a little strip to finish it off on the inside and make it a little bit softer, a little bit nicer when you have it on top of your head. Besides, really, the rope that you see here has actually a function. I didn't actually add this on in the first place because I thought it looked nice. This is more because the original design of the SHP 2000 has a bit of a problem, or at least I did not like it. It was that the clicky part that allows it to shove in and out, adjust the size of the headset, has the tendency to rotate a little about this connection, which made it that if you put this headset on, headphones, sorry. If you put these headphones on, you had, I always felt that they didn't actually put equal pressure on the front part of the phone and the back part of the, I'm changing it around, this is the back part, this is the front part. But they didn't do pressurize that equally if you put this on. So that made it feel a little bit awkward, made it feel a little bit flimsy if you put it on. Now, what I did is I looked a little bit at the insides here. Now you can't really see it here anymore, but apparently they only supported the incoming middle part on one side of the ear part of the bridge. So what I did is I covered all of the middle up with a piece of wood that now actually, and then put that on under pressure with the rope that holds it all in place. So now it actually applies equal pressure on both sides. For the rest, there is one other piece of functionality that I built into the actual ear pads, or no, two actually. Now it is, for example, the first and most simplest one is that you can unplug the cord, so that you basically have, instead of having a set of headphones, you now have a nice, very fancy set of ear muffs. Nice and warm. Tested it a little bit. It works fairly well. Now obviously there are some holes in there, so it's not entirely airtight, I'll give you that, but they're pretty warm, so it does that. Now we put those back in. Now for the other part, I personally, as a hat wearer, have some issues with headphones. When you try to wear them with a hat, you have the tendency to place them not directly straight onto your head, because, well, with the head there, so yeah, that's a bit awkward. So I had the tendency to angle them down into my neck. Now, fine, in principle, should work. However, the earmuffs inside don't, well, they turn as well. So that makes it really a lot less comfortable to wear them that way. Now what I did is, as you can see, there is a secondary ridge in the wood here. You see here 4 of those little thin slates here, on top of one another. Now the 3 below that make up the ridge are actually turnable in comparison to what's on the back. So you can now, with a bit of force, it's still fresh still, but you can actually turn them, each of them, and now you can actually wear this really comfortable in this way. Say you wear this way, just put your nice little hat on top of it, and it's perfectly comfortable. I absolutely love this little feature. It's just, yeah, it's only useful ever for people who wear hats, but I just really like to build that in. So, now, as for the mechanism inside, I'm gonna screw this thing open for you, and we're gonna take a look inside. And we're back now with all the pieces apart. So, as you see, this whole assembly is made out of a set of circular pieces of wood. The final piece on, yeah, this is still a few parts more, but I'm not going to disassemble those because that's just a bit of a hassle to put back together again. Obviously you see a lot of screws, about, let's see, this requires about 15 screws for one assembly, one side of the headset, and a few separate circular pieces of wood. Now those pieces of wood are actually where the whole turning mechanism is integrated into. That is mostly in these 2 parts really, because these 2 lock onto each other, and they are being screwed on from 2 sides. The inner ring you see here screws onto this ring as it comes up there, so that locks actually the outer ring in place, while the outer ring screws onto the earmuff, and that completes the whole assembly really, and that allows to turn the whole build. Now you notice there are a few small little metal pieces of where the screws screw into from the upper plate. Now those are mostly there because, well, I allowed for some more security in the attachment. I didn't do those on the earmuff because the wood is really too thin to put those in there, so, well, with 2 layers I could, but didn't really dare do that with 1 layer, so that's that. Now, the upper part, which the upper shell is actually the most fancy, that was the most satisfying to build really, to chafe out. That is hollow on the inside, with a few holes to allow some sound to come through from the outside, and some, well, allow the speaker to have not too much problem with pressure on the inside, which would, well, hinder the sound really. And in there is also the place where our little female jack pin connector enters, that just slots in there and stays nicely in there. So yeah, that's really how that attaches. Now to get it out is a little bit less easy, but here it goes. As it goes together, now obviously I already told that these 2 slot together and they rotate in position to one another. Now these here, this is the EMF actually with a part of the plastic molds still in there that allows it to retain the old shape. And now this goes simply up here, and then the inner piece, well, that's, oh, oops, that's not entirely right, so that simply goes on here. And then you screw it back in. Okay, why doesn't it fit all that well right now? That's weird. Should be this way, right? Oh, it should be this way. Okay, yeah. No, apparently I'm doing something a little bit wrong. So, and with that, pretty much the turning mechanism is already attached to the EMF. Now these are all simple 3mm thick triplex wood plates, so it's actually really easy to come by this material. Now the outside is a little bit of thin stripping that I did just to mask the outside of the triplex, because I really did not like the look of that. So, well, that's the only part here that isn't really triplex, but the rest is really simple to get, really easy, really affordable. So that's nice. It's all obvious. The color it has is because I treated it with some varnish, and well, that changes the color obviously. But for what I got finally, I really like how this worked out with such a simple material, really. Now here is the point where we actually put in the authentic Philips SHP had the little microphone, the little speaker, little little speaker. Yeah, it's a speaker. And then you attach this ring by actually allowing this little cord to go through there, and you slot this. This fits exactly onto the speaker side and catches on a ridge, so this won't go anywhere right now. This just sits in place, and it applies a little bit of pressure as it's screwed on. It's not a perfect fit, which is obviously done on purpose. Now, I do need to look a little bit as to how this was actually supposed to turn before you could attach it, because I can't really tell that right now. Let's see, how did I do this again? This seems to be the way. Yeah, this all lines up nicely. So we'll screw that back on. And so finally we arrive at the final part. Now we nicely slot, as I showed earlier, we slot this one in place. Actually, that slot also has another thing on the other side. There's a screw here that I didn't screw out. That's because this is a really short one. It's just there to finish off the pattern of 5 screws in there, so that's a nice radial pattern rather than having it, well, that one missing. But that one isn't actually fully isn't the full length, is because it actually bumps into the adapter here, so I couldn't really do that. And I still wanted all the angles that I used in here to remain the same, so yeah, I could have designed it a little bit differently, but that's the way it went. You also see there are only 4 holes going through here in this plate, none here. So I'm gonna screw that one on as well. So, and then we're back at the fully assembled earpiece. So that was all really. The back part has my nice little monogram that I also use for my YouTube my little avatar thingy. Now here you have the entrance for the jack plug. I can't really get that visible on camera, but you can actually see the connector there. But well, nah, the lighting is good for that. Well, and this simply connects on the adapters. I sold the click parts. This originally has some clicking parts attached on it, so it simply clicks on the original headphone. But I sawed that off and drilled some holes in there so there can be some screws in there. So now it simply clicks onto those little studs there, if I not two screws, attach that permanently, and then you have the whole headset assembled. Well, that was my adaptation of the SHP 2000 Philips headphone. I hope you liked it. I hope you did some inspiration, got some inspiration from it. Maybe start your own project. Will be very nice. Would be very interested into seeing what people could get out of this. Oh, and one last thing. Should you feel interested in seeing more of these kind of projects, really don't hesitate to leave a comment or something on that. If somebody has something like, "Oh, I'd love to see more of this," then I'd be happy to do more of these, really. I have some projects laying about that I could actually do in a similar fashion as this, but, well, obviously, to actually show a build of one of these things, I need to know before actually starting the build, and I actually have the intention of filming it before starting a build. So, well, just well, if you think that's interesting, just let yourself be heard, and I might listen. Really, I hope you liked it. Bye.